Hello, Kit Randall here, and today I'm going to be talking about ComputerCraft, which is an excellent add-on for Minecraft made by Dan200. So the focus of this video um, and the resource I'm going to be showing you shortly is for primary school educators. So this is really targeted at young children that you're interested in teaching some fundamentals of computer programming to. So ComputerCraft is an add-on which has a lot of features, and really we're only going to touch on some of the very basic things that it can do. Um, but the crux of it is that you can have a computer terminal within Minecraft that you can write simple programs on, and those programs can manipulate things in the game. And there's also these things called turtles, which is this in the picture you can see here is a mining turtle, and that's sort of like a computer that can move, and you can program it to move and do various tasks like cutting down trees or mining or digging holes, that kind of thing. So we'll get to that. But the first thing to do is to have a look at computercraft.info, which is the website, and there's probably some inspiration for some things you can do there. And there's also the wiki, which is computercraft.info/wiki. The wiki is great. There's an API list, which is probably the meat and bones of the wiki, where you can find out all the commands that the turtles and consoles computers support. So if you want to really dig into it, that's a really good place to look, good resource. And there's some examples of programs that you can have a look at that other people have written. So the easiest way to get ComputerCraft installed, I think, is through Feed the Beast. So Feed the Beast is a collection of mods for Minecraft. There's a couple different mod packs that have different mods in them. The one that I'm going to be using today is called Feed the Beast Lite. Feed the Beast Lite doesn't have all of the mods included, but it does have ComputerCraft and some other good ones too. And it's just a little bit less resource intensive than some of the other larger mod packs like Feed the Beast Ultimate. But you'll want to perhaps explore Feed the Beast a little bit. But what Feed the Beast does is it really adds a significant amount of depth to Minecraft. It makes it a much more interesting game. And it also introduces a lot of things which I think could potentially be really interesting resources for education. So today we're just going to be focusing on ComputerCraft, but just to briefly go over some of the other things that are in here. There's forestry, which allows you to automate production of food and farms. It even has this concept of bee breeding. You can find bees out in the wild and breed them together to create bees which have different abilities, different traits, and bees from different biomes will breed to produce interesting different kinds of bees. And it's an incredibly deep system that even gets down to sort of genetic analysis of the bees, and it's quite intriguing. And then there's Greg Tech and Industrial Craft, and these introduce new ores to the game which can be used to build new machines. There's all sorts of crazy industrial machines you can build. You can even end up building a nuclear reactor towards the end of the game. But there's all sorts of different ways to generate power. You can generate power with biogas, with steam, geothermal, wind power. It's quite phenomenal. But at any rate, perhaps spend some time looking through those resources. But to get started with Feed the Beast, you need, at the minimum, you need to download an executable. So either if you're on Mac OS or Linux, you want to get the jar. If you're on Windows, you want to get the exe. And then once you're ready to also introduce other kids to a world that you've prepared, you're going to want to run a server. So Feed the Beast has slightly higher system requirements than Minecraft for running a server, and if you have 10 or more kids on a server, you're really going to need a fairly grunty machine. Unfortunately, you need probably 3 or 4 gigs of RAM at a minimum, I would think, and a dual-core CPU ideally. So yeah, it is fairly memory intensive, but good fun once you get it all set up. So, what I'll be showing you today is just the beginning of a world I've been working on, which is um, sort of like a tutorial. So, here we go. So we spawn in this place here. Now, once I'm finished with this, I'll make this world available through the show notes, as well as listing all the resources for the relevant downloads and that sort of thing. Still have a bit to do, as you'll see towards the end, but I just wanted to put this up here to get some feedback. So, kids will start here, and they come here to the Computer Craft Institute. They'll walk in. So this is just a greeting room. So it just says hello. And you'll get to see a monitor. So this is a Computer Craft monitor, and here's a Computer Craft computer. Now see, the first lesson is to craft a computer. So here is a somewhat sketchy representation of the materials you need to craft a computer. The monitor is trying to display a bitmap graphic, and or a bitmap graphic that's been converted into the system that it understands. So the representation is not brilliant, but it gives you a pretty good indication of what's supposed to go there. So that's actually smooth stone around the outside. So I'm going to need some smooth stone. And we're going to need some redstone in the middle, and a pane of glass, and that gives us a computer. So we've got our first Computer Craft computer. When the kids are in here, I recommend you put it on survival mode so they can't just create arbitrary blocks everywhere. You don't want them doing that. And you really only want them just to have the one thing in their inventory, so the computer. So once they've made their computer, we'll go through here to lesson 2, and that's to learn some craft OS commands. So every computer has an operating system. The Computer Craft computer is no different. It's got an operating system called Craft OS. And so the instructions are over here. So place your computer on the green square. And then we're going to get a record from the chest. Okay, so you see there's a chest here, and there's a record spinning around. So grab that record. And put the record in the disk drive. So this thing here is a disk drive. You can see there's a wee slot. Looks like a disk would go in there. And then right-click your computer and run the DJ program. So using the commands here, the kids need to find the DJ program. So the two commands they need to do that. There's CD for change directory and ls for list files. So coincidentally, these are also commands that are used in the Unix operating system. So this will work in Linux and other flavors of Unix. So they're actually learning some real commands that can be used on a real computer at some point. They go in here, and so if they type ls to see what's there, you can see there's a directory called ROM, and I'll explain to them what ROM means at the time. ROM, every Computer Craft computer has a directory called ROM that is filled with stuff that can't be written to. So it's just sort of pre-programmed stuff that comes with the computer that you can't modify. But let's see what's in there. So we're going to change directory. And we could even type dir, which is the DOS command, or ls, which is the Linux command, the Linux equivalent to list some files. We'll see there's a directory called program, so that seems like probably where we want to be. We'll go in there. And then we can see these are all the built-in commands that come with the Computer Craft computer. And the one we want is DJ. So we'll type DJ, and you see, we've got some music. So, the kids have learned how to navigate the file system, and how to list files, and how to run a program. So that's a good start. I'll just put that back in there for later. We go through here. And then lesson 3 is our first program. So we're actually going to learn to write a program. So the kids will take their computer from the other room and place it here. Kind of cheating. I'm in a mode called creative mode where I can just create arbitrary things, but kids won't be able to do that when they come in here. There's some little information panels scattered about. So did you know Lua is used to make games such as World of Warcraft, The Sims, and Civilization? Did you know Computer Craft computers are programmed in Lua? So that's something to mention. The children, when they learn to program a Computer Craft computer, will be learning a real-world programming language that is used quite a bit in real-world programming. Lua was written, I believe it was written by Brazilian geologists. So it was originally intended to be used for science, but for some reason it has become very popular for scripting logic, sort of high-level logic in computer games, which is why I mentioned some 3 very popular games there that use Lua quite a bit. So yeah, they'll be learning a real-world skill here, which is great. So what we're going to learn here is how to just write a simple hello world program. So we're going to edit a new program called hello, and we're going to use the print function to make a program that prints hello. So let's give that a go. So we're going to type edit hello, and we're going to use the print function, print hello. So the kids will learn how to use the editor. So ComputerCraft has a very simple editor. It gives you a line number, and it doesn't really have much functionality other than editing text, very basic text editing and saving. And the print option allows you to print the source code of a program you've written, and store it on an item, which is a piece of paper, a printout.